back to my screen so I can see all of you. And let's get started. All right. So your fan's going to be your most important thing for tonight. Keep yourself cool during this process. Ooh, I never even put my tension on the back of my bike, so it's not going to make it it's going to make my workout super easy because I don't have any tension on my back wheel. All right, now that should work a little better. Here we go. So I have to admit that it was crazy for me, and I don't know if you guys can see this pile of papers over here, which is probably at least an inch thick. It's every single workout that we've done since the beginning of this. And I have written on the workout that we're going to do tonight, at the top of it, 323. So the first workout that we did was March the 23rd of last year, which is unbelievable to think that we've kept this going for this many weeks, twice a week, once a week, however many times, 3 times a week at one point. And then all you guys have stuck with it, kept it going. It's kind of amazing to me. It actually blows my mind in a way. That's a lot of workouts. That's a lot of information. And it's a lot of achievements. So I'm giving you guys a round of applause for being committed to doing this. I mean, it's so cool. It's super cool that we've been able to share this together, be there for one another, but also keep ourselves moving and active when that might not have been so easy to do. So what I figured would be kind of fun is to actually do that first workout again, to see what it feels like, just see what it's like. I have written on here that I had 35 people on that first session, which was crazy to think that there were that many people up on the screen. Now, I don't know if everybody was actually doing the workout, but there were 35 people up on the screen. So that's kind of cool. Kind of cool to see the progression. We lost a few in the process, but we were constantly getting, at least 25 once we started to get into the heart of the matter. So congratulations for making it this far. As you saw in my email, I think it's time for us to start getting outside more frequently. And so we'll keep the Tuesday session in place. We'll drop this one for now. And then we'll see how that goes. So I hope you guys are okay with that option. And I also thank you for supporting this during this 1 year period of time. It's crazy. I can remember actually talking to Kelly, who's on screen tonight. At one point, we were talking about how we could get people that didn't live in the area or couldn't get to the bike shop to do a session virtually. Well, man, now we have all kinds of options. So this was out there, we just didn't know how to use it. So it's good that we have these options to choose from. So I didn't even title my workouts back then. I titled this workout Corona Workout Number 1, but I didn't keep doing that. I got done with it, I think, on Corona Workout Number 2. And then after that, I started giving them titles. So Corona Workout Number 1 was really a little bit of everything. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Is a little bit of everything. Keep it all in perspective. I didn't reference in this workout any heart rate information, but I did use cadence because that was definitely something that most people had. And then you're going to notice gearing as always. So always the keys to these workouts. Make sure you have that full water bottle on your bike. That towel handy. Your fan on, either up above, away from you, or right next to you, because that is really important. All right, so how we're going to start this. I didn't make it easy on you guys for that first workout. We're going to do a 5-minute set just like we always do. It's going to be 5 by 15 seconds, but you have to get your cadence to 120. What was I thinking? We were just starting. So you're going to either be somewhere near the top of your cassette. I'm going to say maybe around your 23, 21. If you can go, and this is where you can start gauging how much you've improved. If you can go to a little harder gear than what I suggested back then and get to 120, then you've made those improvements. But we are still warming up. So know that the legs might not be exactly where they want to be. So find that gear. It's 15 seconds in the saddle. 120, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Find all those metrics that we always talk about. Strong in your core, leg speed, tall in the body. Keep it moving. 3, 2, 1. Give yourself 45 seconds easy. So check your gear. If you felt yourself bouncing, then you need to get to one harder gear. Sometimes too easy of a gear doesn't help you get to those kind of cadences. So find that right gear. We're going to get in 5 of these. It's going to get the heart rate starting to work. Going to get the leg speed happening. And let's get you ready for what's to come from this 1-year-old workout. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Right back up to 120. When I get tall, I get there. When I feel myself holding my core up, then my hips turn. 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down. If you're feeling a little burn at that 120, that's good. That's what we want. So here's something that I want you to remember. When you start going outside, do exactly what we do here. Spend like the first 10, 5, 10, 15 minutes of the ride just spinning along. Do a 5-minute set where you do like 5 little short sprints and then be on your way. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Right back to it. Light on your feet. Thinking fast legs. Hold your body into the saddle. 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down. What ends up happening for most of us when we start riding outside again is we get caught up in what I call club riding, which means you literally go the same speed all the time without a lot of change. So keep that change in there. You can do some workouts like that, but find yourself at the beginning, say you have an hour to ride, go do some hill repeats. Go do something that's going to make the body think. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Bring it up. 120. Hold that core tight. Don't let the body bounce. Control it. 3, 2, 1. Nice. So that mixture of different kinds of workouts is what gets you the benefits. So try it all your might. Keep that going. You're still going to have that on Tuesday night. because we'll still be around. But when you're doing other workouts, keep that in mind. We got one more coming our way. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Fast legs, fast legs, fast legs. Oh yeah. 3, 2, 1, just stay in that gear. Give yourself that 45 seconds. And then we're going to talk about where we're going to go from here. You know the drill. Have that whole bottle consumed by the end of the night. And think of that too when you start going back outside. 1 bottle an hour. If it starts getting hot or you're in the middle of summer and it's 90 degrees, do a bottle and a half. Gauge based on your sweat rate. All right, 3, 2, find a super easy gear. We only have 1 minute easy, so take a drink. All right, so here's where you're really going to get to test how you're feeling. We are literally going to walk down our cassette. So for some of us, you might have a 9-speed cassette, some might have 10, some might have 11. I don't think anybody at this point has 12. But if you do, all we're doing is every minute shifting to 1 harder gear. Now what I want you to try to think of or work on is keeping that cadence consistent. Of course, once we get around the 15, it gets a little harder to hold that same cadence. So set your bar. You can probably go 2 or 3, maybe 4 gears before your cadence starts to drop. So start right where you are right now. 1 minute here. You can set your cadence wherever you want. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to sit at about 105 so I can keep it going, but I know that that cadence is going to come down as we move through the cassette. And remember, that's part of the growth process, is if you're out on the road and you're holding that 90 cadence and you shift to a harder gear, that is, can you still hold that 90 cadence? That's when you know you're making progress, is when you can shift to a harder gear, but keep that cadence in check. So lots of focus here. Keeping the legs spinning. Doesn't have to be hard all the time to make it worthy. Shift in 1 harder gear. See if you can stay within that same cadence range that you set for yourself. Find that nice, comfortable position. Remember that bend in your elbows. Shoulders are down. Feet are flat. Legs are light. These are easy gears, so it's easy to make your legs light. Feeling that upward part of the stroke, but not overdoing it. I had an athlete once who was like, why is this so hard for me to do? He was just pulling up too much. 3, 2, shifting down 1 harder gear. Make sure you check that cadence. Can you hold the same number? You should be able to. I'm still at that 105 number that I started with. It feels good when the legs are spinning. The other part to think about during this is if you struggle with drinking, then practice it here. It's a lot easier to stay on top of your hydration when you can drink and ride at the same time. The hardest part, shifting down, one harder gear. Keeping that cadence there. Now is when you might start feeling a difference. You might drop about 5 RPM. See if you can keep it where you've been before. You can also notice heart rate's going up, power going up. Everything changing. Coming up onto 4 minutes. Making another shift. Now is also when you're going to feel a change. You're also probably moving into another zone. You might be at the bottom of zone 4 now. Of course, the fact that our homes are warmer isn't helping. And we don't have our air conditioning on yet, or you might. Which is a good study of the body's too hot. It can't work as well. Another shift. 5 minutes in, 6 to go. Now the cadence will change. Might be down in the 80s, maybe 75, maybe even 70. Stick with it though. Trust that you'll get through. Coming up on past the halfway mark. Three, two, shifting again. Now find what can get comfortable. If you were sitting in zone 4, try to stay there at whatever cadence you can manage now. I also had on my notes from last year that we were going to do the vintage jersey the following workout. So it was a reminder, pull out those old vintage jerseys. Coming up on 7 minutes. One harder gear. If you look back, you might have 2 gears, 1 gear, 3 gears or no gears. When you get to the bottom of the cassette, you'll just hold in that gear till the end. Cadence has dropped a lot now. That's okay. Start using your heart rate or power. Be in zone 4. Coming up on 8 minutes. 3, 2, making a shift. Stick with it. Feel your strong legs come into play. Try not to push into those pedals. Feel your feet being light. So I have a little test for you guys. Or not a test, but you're going to have to answer the question at the end. So I'm going to make you think about this as we go through the workout. Making another shift. 9 minutes in. 2 more to go. If you're at the bottom, just stay there. So the question that you're going to answer is, if you can pick 2 smells that you like the most from this list, you're going to tell me what they are at the end. Is it fresh cut grass, homemade bread, strong coffee, line dried sheets, which my grandmother always did, and my mother used to iron our sheets. Last shift, if you got it. If you don't, just stay where you are. If your cadence is down at 60 or 50, that's fine. Just grind through this last 45 seconds. Dark chocolate, garden dirt, a campfire, brownies baking, chlorine, which is kind of a weird one, but I guess it reminds people of summertime, being at the public pool, enjoying time with friends. Coming to the end. 3, 2, 1. Shifting all the way back up. All the way to the top. Take a drink. Rest. You're going to get 2 minutes easy. Woo! Can feel the heat rising in this room. I should have opened a window. Maybe that would make it worse. All right, so that was good. That was good to see what you could hold. And it was a good long effort. 11 minutes, that's a long effort. So our next one, this is going to be a little cadence acceleration. I think on Tuesday we did this right at the end. We're going to do 2 sets of 4 30-second efforts. They're going to go 90, 100, 110. So every 10 seconds, you're increasing that cadence and then you're going to get 30 seconds each. So what I want you to do, you don't have to go there yet, but start thinking about what big ring, and in a gear that's not too overpowering, because if you can't get to that 110, then this isn't worth doing. I want you to be in a gear where you can hold that 110 at least for 10 seconds, which isn't a lot. The hardest part is in between. You're staying in that gear for 30 seconds as a rest, but it's not a lot of rest. So think about the gear. 4 to start. Then we're going to get a minute in between, and then 4 again. All right. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm reading that wrong. No, that's right. All right, so here we go. Find your big ring. Find that gear that you think you want to be in. If you want to change it, you may. You're starting at 90. 3, 2, 1. Find 90. Don't go higher. You got to control this. That's the hardest part when you first start. And to 100. Allow yourself this first 30 seconds to get into it. Now to 110. Three, 2, 1. Nice and easy. 30 seconds easy. 1 down, 3 more to go. Dial it in this next time. That big ring just makes it a tad bit harder. So if you're at 80 right now, you don't have to dial it up much. Here we go. 90. 90 feels easy. 100. Control it. 110. Back down to nice and easy. All right, so there's 2 down. 2 to go. A few more things to think about on our list. Baby snuggles, apple pie, banana boat sunscreen, a new book, fresh towels, leather boots, or right before it rains. Back to 90. Control here, control. I bust out of the gate too fast. 100. This is about feel. 110. 3, 2. Nice and easy. Back down to that 80, maybe even 70. We got 1 more to go. All right, here we go. 90 to start. 3, 2. Right there. I got it right this time. 100. Don't go higher. Do your best to get right on it. 110. Come on now. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Shift down to a couple harder gears. Down to your small ring. Up to an easy gear. 1 minute easy. Spin those legs. Take a drink. We're going to do that one again in 45 seconds. So I'll remind you of these things. The 2 smells one more time along the workout. So you can pick what you like. Randy said brownies, baking, and I can't remember his second one. I think he said homemade bread. So you can see where his mind is. It's all about baked goods for him. All right, you're going to find that same gear again. 4 of these. It's an acceleration effort. Make sure you're in the right gear. 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds at 90. Don't bust out of the gate. Be controlled. 100. The legs feel so good after that rest that they want to go fast. 110. 3, 2, down to 80 or 70. So we're creating a little bit of fatigue in between, which is what happens typically when we ride outside. You climb a hill, you jump off of a traffic light, you got a little rise in the road. Here we go. 3, 2, right to 90. Stay concentrated. 100. 110. Make it happen. Even pedal stroke. 3, 2, 1. Nice and easy. 2 down. 2 to go. These are good to keep you focused through the whole effort. Because that's what happens when we're outside too. You got to stay focused. Here we go. 90. 100. 110. I almost feel like deja vu right now. 3, 2. Nice and easy. All right, we're going to do one more of these. Then we're going to move into our final set. Make this last one really controlled. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 90. 100. 110. 3, 2. Couple of shifts down before you shift to your small ring. So you're not chaining, cross training. Spin this out. All right, the last one. The last full set. 6 minutes long. This is, again, using cadence to get us what we want. It's kind of a climbing interval. So this almost feels like it's a rolling effort because you're going to go low cadence, then high cadence, not high, high, but 90 cadence. Back down to low cadence, back up to high cadence. We're just going to keep going back and forth from one gear to the other and from one cadence to the other. So you want to make it feel like you're climbing. We're going to add some standing into that to make it realistic. It's not going to all be standing, but here and there. So get your climbing legs ready. So I was watching a race the other day, and I so wished that all of you guys were watching it with me, because Alejandro Valverde, who races for Movistar, was climbing this 11-kilometer climb at about 7%. He ended up attacking at one point, being by himself for a while. And as soon as he got finished attacking, he went from being in his hoods because he was standing when he attacked to putting his hands right on his deck, exactly like I tell you guys to do when you're climbing long like that. And he kept them there the entire time he was climbing in the saddle. So start thinking about that. We'll do a little bit of that in this effort. So you can start thinking about getting your hands on that deck anytime you start coming to that rise in the road. All right, so first gear, big ring, all the way down to your 13. So you probably are only going to have one gear, maybe two, underneath your chain. I want you to try to get yourself to a 60 cadence. If you need to shift to an easier gear, you may. No higher than 60. Let's just grind through this. Hands are on the deck. Nice tall in your torso. Let your glutes and hamstrings do all the work. And like I said, if this gear's a little too much, find one that holds you at 60. You're going to go from 60 to a 90 cadence. That's going to be where we're heading after the minute. And remember, light feet. If you feel yourself pushing on the backs of the pedals, then you need to lighten up and get over top of your feet. All right, shift it up to probably around your 21. Increase that cadence to 90. It's a tough transition. The body's a little sluggish to get started. But keep the legs moving. Keep those feet light. Stay in that deck. Be consistent with that cadence. Almost there. 15 seconds. When I count it down, back down to that gear that had you at 60. In your hoods, stand it up. Woo! That's a tough transition too. Tall, hips over your ankles, light in your hands. Find your feet, going all the way around. No stopping at the bottom. Sitting back down, holding that cadence. Where are your hands now? On your deck. Moving your hands back to that deck. Feeling those elbows bending. Right into that good climbing position. 3, 2, lifting up. Get into that 90 cadence. Woo! That's the hardest transition. The legs are feeling so heavy. It's tough to get them to go. But once you find the right gear, settle into that cadence, they come back to life. Three and a half minutes in. Keep it going. Hold that cadence. Don't let it drop. You're still on the deck. 3, 2, back down to that 60. Still staying on that deck. It's also a tough transition. Now is when you start to feel yourself wanting to push into the pedals. When you start getting tired, you need to keep the feet light. In your hoods, standing up. Stick with it. Almost to 5 minutes. Sitting back down. Shifting up. Getting to 90. Let's go. Last minute. Keep the legs going. Stay relaxed. Don't let those shoulders come up to your ears. $15 to go. To the end. Don't stop pedaling until I say 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. Shift to that small ring, and then up to an easy gear. Woo! That's a tough one. That's challenging. That's why climbing is so challenging, because you go from a hard effort like that in a low cadence to then potentially coming down the other side. So what do we know about what we should be doing on the other side of that climb? If it's a nice descent, the last thing you want to do is stop your feet. Because what's going to happen? If you do that right now, you're going to feel your legs getting warmer. You're going to feel that blood pulling in your legs. So if you keep your feet, even if you're moving them at a slow rate, and obviously if you're going down the other side of a mountain, get into a harder gear, get in your big ring if it's a long descent, and let those legs just spin without any effort so that the blood doesn't pull in there and you don't end up, when you start the next climb, Once you descend, sometimes you're going to have to go back up again. You'll get to the bottom of that other climb and your legs will be all filled up with blood and they just can't work. Those muscles just cannot fire. So keep that in mind as you do those climbs and descents. Plus it'll help you to just get your pedal stroke to get nice and smooth too on that downside. Now that kind of contradicts a few things that I said on Tuesday. And I'm going to go over a couple of those again. If you're coming onto something that's rough road, so we know that a lot of times it looks as if somebody took a little grater, just grated off part of the top of the road, and you have a lot of stones and grit in that graded section. Instead of slamming on your brakes, when you hit that section, stop your feet forward and back, get out of the saddle slightly, allow your upper body to be relaxed, and go through that as if you had absorption underneath you or you were a shock absorber. That's going to get you through that section safely. And then when you get to the other side, you can definitely slow down and get control. So think about that if you come upon those sections. All right, so here's what we're going to do to finish up tonight. Just a couple of fast legs. You know how I like to finish fast. Get in 2 harder gears. So it's going to give you a little bit of resistance under you. I want you to find 90 cadence and just hold it there. While you're holding it there, I want you to really start to find that feeling in your legs where they're not firing the muscles. And of course, what's going to help you do that? Getting light in your feet, taking the soles of your shoe away from the bottom of your foot. You can keep that cadence easily in this gear. Just going to allow yourself to spin. Find your zen in this part. Feel your toes inside your shoes. I want you to shift to one easier gear and keep that same thing. I want you to take your big toe inside your shoe and feel it actually press the bottom of the sole of your shoe and then take it off so you can feel the difference of what it feels like with your toe pushing and then your toe not pushing. If you feel this right on tops of your thighs, right in the middle, and you're doing this right, that means you're pulling up and you're finding that perfect circle. Wish I had a circleometer which could show if you're pedaling at a perfect circle. All right, one more easier gear. So you should be at the top of your cassette. And now, of course, you might feel like you're getting a little bounce. Your cadence probably increased just naturally to about 100. Hopefully, your heart rate is starting to come down because that's what this is about. Just cooling down, but with some fast legs. So I'm going to go through this list again so you can tell me. Everybody's going to tell me their 2 smells. Fresh cut grass, homemade bread, strong coffee, line dried sheets, dark chocolate, garden dirt, campfire, brownies baking, chlorine, baby snuggles, apple pie, banana boat sunscreen, new books, fresh towels, leather boots, or right before it rains. So I'll tell you my two things. You guys know me well enough. I know Lillian's going to know my first one. Apple pie. Pie, glorious pie. Line-dried sheets would be the second one. Reminds me of my childhood. We always had fresh-smelling sheets at my grandmother's house. She never put the sheets in the dryer. They were always dried on a line. And she had a big yard to make that happen. All right, one more minute. You can bring that cadence down if you feel like you need it to about 90. Feel yourself starting to cool down. Make sure you're finishing the rest of what's in your bottle. So that was our workout from a year ago. If you were here, more than likely you did it. And interestingly enough, I wasn't sophisticated enough then. I never recorded this one. So it's going to go in the library tonight. So I think that will give me 66 workouts potentially in there. That's a lot. That's a lot of working out, guys. It's a lot of sweat. And fortunately, no tears. All right, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to bring my list so you can tell me which two things you prefer. Woo! Great job. Good workout. All right.